So you want to speak English faster, right? You need to stop translating in your head and start thinking in English. In this video lesson, I'll be sharing with you 20 tips to help you stop translating in your head to think faster in English so that you can speak faster and have natural conversations in English. Now, if this is the first time you're here on my YouTube channel, welcome. My name's Adriana from EnglishTeacherAdriana.com. I help English learners improve their English, boost their confidence to finally speak English confidently. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on notifications so that you know, get that bell when I post my next video lesson here to help you improve your confidence speaking in English. Guys, in this lesson, I'll be sharing with you 20 ways to train your brain to stop translating so that you can think faster and speak faster in English. You be the judge. You know how you learn, how effective you are, how much time you have. These are different options for you to choose from. Choose the ones that you like and start using and implementing them in your daily study routine. So you ready? Let's begin with the first way. Now to begin with, you want to make English a part of your everyday life. So immerse yourself, surround yourself with the English language. You can do this by listening to podcasts, watching movies, listening to songs in English, watching the news in English, reading the news in English. Basically, if you watch TV, do this in English. Change your phone settings to English, watch YouTube videos in English, anything that you're reading or watching, do this in English. By doing this, you're challenging yourself every day, challenging yourself to understand different phrases, expressions, new words, and this will help you stop translating and understand better when to use different words, different phrases, different grammatical structures in English. But to stop translating and to think faster, you need to stress less with the grammar, guys. Don't worry so much about grammar while you're immersing and surrounding yourself in the English language. Rather focus on phrases and expressions you hear. The grammar will come in time, but you're probably overthinking all those grammar rules, those structures. Start by focusing on the phrases and expressions, then later on we'll focus on the grammar. Now I know you may be asking yourself, but when you see a new phrase, a new expression, you need to translate it to understand it, right? Is that what you're thinking? Look guys, no, you don't need to translate that phrase, that word in your language. If you're looking up new words in a bilingual dictionary, you're automatically getting into the habit of always translating. Make sure to be using a monolingual dictionary. If you're watching this video lesson, you can most likely understand 50 to 80% of my lessons. There is no reason for you to be using a bilingual dictionary. Use a monolingual dictionary, look up that phrase, that expression in the English language, and this will really help you train your brain to think faster and also to stop translating so that you can speak more faster in English. Now, by surrounding yourself with the English language, you're really exposing yourself to a lot. So you want to be making sure that you're paying attention to the phrases and expressions. Any new phrases and expressions you come across, make sure to write them down in a vocab diary, journal, workbook, whatever you want to call it. Write it down and write down the definition in English. Now, it's not enough just to be writing these phrases down, just the word and the definition. This is good, but you're not going to remember this, and you want to be able to think faster so that you stop translating when you're speaking in English. So it's very important for you to be using these new phrases and expressions. One great way for you to be doing this is to be creating sentences in your diary. Write down sentences personalized to you. Don't be looking up and copying the example sentences from the dictionary. This is not going to help you. Create sentences relevant to your life. Maybe if it's not exactly relevant to your life, make it relevant to your family's life, to somebody that you know, gossip about that person. Doesn't matter, but make sure to be writing sentences relevant to you, personalized to you so that you remember them. Now, writing them down is great, but another great way to do this is to be also saying them out loud. Not once, and also don't be saying these sentences in your head. Say these sentences out loud so that you are speaking. You're training your brain to think faster, to speak faster, and your chances of remembering these new phrases and expressions will improve when you do have to speak out in the real world. Say these sentences out loud. It's a great way to train your brain to think faster so that you can speak faster in English. Now, I understand that these sentences may be a little bit repetitive for you. So if you feel like this is too repetitive, what you could do is to talk to yourself. Talk to yourself in English. In the morning when you're brushing your teeth, talk to yourself about that day in English. While you're making yourself your morning coffee, your morning tea, or breakfast, describe what you're doing in English. This is a great way to train your brain to think faster, use verbs, nouns, different objects. Also, by you talking to yourself, you are making it relatable to you, because most likely what you're talking about with yourself, you'll be talking and sharing this with other people. But make sure to be talking to yourself out loud, okay? Not in your head. Now, if you don't feel comfortable talking to yourself out loud, create role-play situations that you may find yourself in. For example, if you're talking to yourself while you're making breakfast. So pretend you have an imaginary friend there. For example, hey, can you please pass me the milk? Oh, thanks for passing me the milk. I do understand that you may think that you're a little bit crazy in this situation, but by asking questions to your imaginary friend while you're making breakfast, while you're preparing lunch, while you're going out driving to work, it's a great way for you to ask questions, answer questions, and just simply train your brain to think faster so you're not translating and simply more confident speaking in English. While you're doing this, it's really important to focus on fluency, not grammar. Forget about the grammar. Focus on using the expressions, the phrases that you know. Make some mistakes. Think about it a little bit. Because by you just putting words out there, if you're able to understand 50 to 80% of this lesson, you know a lot of words. You most likely know a lot of grammar, but you're just insecure. You're so scared because you question yourself all the time about your grammar mistakes. Use the phrases, use the expressions, you know, and you'll see that your ability to use them, think faster, you'll stop translating because you're not so worried about grammar. You'll just start speaking and your fluency will improve. You could also read the daily news in English. Now this really works. I did this when I migrated to Croatia. I had a problem understanding Croatians. I had a problem speaking, thinking. I was always translating. So I made it a habit to buy the daily newspaper in Croatian and just read. By reading, you are exposing yourself to English language and you're also exposed to topics you could possibly speak about. You'll be thinking about these topics, thinking about what's happening in the world, what other people are speaking about, and you'll be more interested to speak, to think, and also to stop translating so that you can effectively express yourself in English. Now, I understand that you may think, but it's so hard, Adriana, to read the news in English because there's so many words that I don't understand. Guys, while you're reading the news in English, don't focus on the words that you don't know. Rather focus on the context. So while you're reading, if there's a word you don't understand, go back, read that paragraph again, and question yourself. What is the writer trying to say? What are they speaking about? I guarantee if you question yourself, you're not being negative, you're not thinking about what you don't understand, rather you're reading for context, thinking about what's happening in that whole paragraph, you'll be able to understand what's being said and you will figure out what that word means. Reading for context is very powerful and this really differentiates intermediate to advanced English learners. Now you could even take it one step further by summarizing. So really using your knowledge and writing down on a piece of paper a small brief summary of what you've read in the news. Now, by writing, guys, you are forcing yourself to think of different words, different expressions, different phrases, and put pen to paper, use your English, and this is a great, very powerful way to train your brain to stop translating and to speak faster in English. Yes, it is in written form, but by you writing, you can see what problems you're experiencing, how long it's taken you to write something, and how well you're able to understand text. Try doing a brief summary in only 5 minutes. See what you get down on that paper. I guarantee your ability to remember words will improve, you'll stop translating, and you'll pretty much force yourself to use what you know, and you'll do this a lot faster because you're trained, you're doing it regularly. But if writing really isn't your thing, I don't know why it wouldn't be. It's most effective tip in this video lesson. But if it really isn't your thing, what you could do is you could read out loud. Because by you reading out loud, first of all, you're training your mouth to speak in English, but also you are mentally processing what is written down in that article and you are using your English. It is a little more passive than actually doing a summary, but if you're really struggling to write and to create a summary, it is good and also effective to be reading out that article out loud. Now, when I say out loud, I don't mean in your head. Don't be reading this in your mind. This isn't really processing the language. Do this out loud. It is a lot more effective. But if you think that you're too busy, you have no time to read the news, then what you could do is you could listen to the news. Listen to the news every single day and pay attention to what they're saying. Listen for context. Stress less about the things that you don't understand, but listen for the general idea what the speaker is trying to say. But if you're more of a book person, you really enjoy reading, one thing you could do is to read audiobooks. Well, actually not read audiobooks, listen to audiobooks. Guys, get an audiobook and get the physical book and listen. Now, while you're listening, follow the book. So the physical copy, you could do this just with your finger like this, as I'm doing on the screen at the moment. And while the speaker is reading the book out loud, read at the same time as the speaker. Now, this is a great way, first of all, to start reading in English, to surround yourself with the English language, but also to see different words, practice using the English language. And this is also another great way to train your brain to stop translating so that you can speak faster. It does require a lot of multitasking, so don't suggest that you do this hours on end. Try to do this for about 3 to 4 minutes every day. Now, the great thing with an audiobook and also the physical book is that you could also do some dictation practice. Now, guys, this is very powerful. Also, it can be very boring, but it is very powerful and it will help you learn English fast, and it will help you to stop translating. Basically, dictation is when you listen to somebody speaking in English and you write down everything you hear. Here, by doing this exercise, you simply don't have the time to translate. You're not given the time, the opportunity to translate. You have to use the English language to listen, and you have to process it in the English language so that you do this fast. Now, I suggest that you do this with an audiobook and the physical book. This way you can see, okay, what mistakes you've made, what you didn't understand, what you didn't catch, and you can also track your progress. If you'd like more details about dictation, why it's so powerful, and why I love this technique, make sure to watch this video lesson here. I go into it into a lot more detail there. Also, if you've been regularly watching my videos here on YouTube, you will know that I'm consistently talking about this technique that's called shadowing. Guys, I sound like a broken record, okay? Shadowing is when you listen, you copy, you imitate the English speaker that you're listening to. This is great to be doing in videos such as this, but also with audiobooks. It's a great way for you to process the English language, to use the English language, to train your brain to stop translating, to think faster in English so that you can speak faster in English. Something you can do from the comfort of your home. You don't need anybody to speak with. Simply shadow, copy. Children learn like this. Native English speakers learn English like this. It's very powerful. There's no reason for you not to be doing this. Now, if you really like to challenge yourself, a great way to train yourself to stop translating is to speak. Speak with people not in your native language, in the English language, as this is a great way for you to use the phrases and expressions. You're going to have to overcome your fear of speaking in English. Find English speaking partners online or offline. Be proactive and make sure that you are not using your native language, that you are speaking in the English language, and observe. Observe yourself. Are you thinking too much? Why are you thinking too much? Are you translating? Criticize yourself, give yourself feedback so you are consistently improving and you know what areas need to work on. Guys, these tips are really effective, but they're not effective if you don't do them, if you're lazy, and if you're not consistent. Better to do something every single day for about 15 to 30 minutes rather than cram learning, so spending 7 hours a day for a week and expecting to speak English fluently. Aim for long-term improvement, so use these tips on a daily basis. Think long-term, be consistent, and I guarantee that you'll be able to stop translating, you'll think faster, and you'll speak faster in English. Now, guys, I'm sure there are other methods you've probably used to speak faster in English, and I'd love to hear them. Tell me in the comments below this video, what are you doing at the moment to speak English faster? Remember, guys, if you like this video lesson, make sure to like it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you get that bell. You know when I post my next video lesson here to help you improve your confidence speaking in English. Continue learning with me by downloading my free audio guide where I share with you exactly what you need to be doing every single day to drastically improve your confidence speaking in English. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in my next lesson. Bye for now.